What is going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel, and today we are going to be doing another testing video, and this is actually one that I've had planned pretty much since the game launched, and then I've just had so many other testing videos to get through, so it has been pushed back quite a bit. But we are finally going to be testing Irish's Sentinel system and essentially just figuring out what it does block as well as what it doesn't block. I'm sure you will already know, but for those who don't know, his Sentinel system, or I think it's called the Shootdown Sentinel, it is meant to essentially block all incoming explosives, and it pretty much blows them up without causing any damage to anyone within the area of effect. So in theory, any explosive coming towards it should be essentially blown up. But like I said, today we're going to be testing what it actually doesn't block, because there are certain things that the Sentinel system will not block in 2042. Before we get into it, if you guys are new to the channel, then definitely hit that subscribe button and turn on those notifications. There's going to be plenty more content like this on the way in 2022, and we are hunting down 30,000 subscribers by the end of the year. But with that being said, let's get stuck into the testing. So in my testing, I managed to find 17 different, I guess, items. Some of these are vehicles, so they're not really an item, but you get what I mean. And so obviously with 17 different things to test, this could end up taking quite a while, so I'm going to essentially just try and fly through these as fast as possible. So the first thing that I tested was obviously just the regular grenades. They are the first thing that came to mind for me, and as you can see, the Sentinel system will blow these up straight away. Next up, I then tested the M5 Recoilless rocket launcher, and this one once again was blocked by the Shootdown Sentinel. Now, the next thing that I tested was the C5, and this is actually the first thing on this list that didn't get intercepted by the Sentinel. I think because these are sort of placed down before they really become an explosive, they can essentially get their way into that area because I guess they're not really armed at that point. Obviously, if you're shooting a rocket launcher, that is like a missile that is on its way past the Sentinel, but I guess with a C5 you are kind of placing something down. So as you can see, you can put these down in that area, and then once they blow up, they will actually take out the Sentinel. Next up, I just tested the Incendiary Grenade, and just the same as the regular grenades, this was stopped by the Sentinel. Now, next up, I tested the anti-tank mine, and it pretty much exactly the same as the C5. I think because you can place these down, they essentially just don't get intercepted by the Sentinel system. So you can place these down, they won't explode, and then the other thing is that if they do explode, for example, if I shoot it or if a tank was to drive past it, then it will actually once again take out that Sentinel system. So this one was kind of to be expected after testing the C5, so that is the second thing on the list that doesn't get blown up by the Sentinel. Now, next up, I tested the smoke grenade, which I was kind of confused what this one would do because it's not really a damage causing ability. It essentially just puts out smoke, but as you can see, it does actually get blocked by the Sentinel. The next one was much the same. This is the proc sensor, which I was very confused how this was going to go, but once again, this one was blocked. For some reason on my screen, it didn't actually show up, you know, on the character throwing the proc sensor, but it did block it. I think that was just a little glitch, and I tested it again at the end, and it did work. So I think it was just some sort of glitch. It happens later on in the video as well. Now, the next one was a little bit interesting. I had to get a little bit creative with this one, I guess, and this was the Stinger missile. Now, this does once again get blocked by the Sentinel, just the same as the M5 rocket launcher. However, because the Stinger missile, or what, I forget what it's actually called in this game, but the Stinger missile being the anti-air rocket launcher, because that kind of launches up into the air a little bit, if you do stand far enough away, obviously it won't block it. It can go like way over the top of it, and so I guess you would say this doesn't block it every single time, because you can take out a chopper or something, for example, on the other side of the Sentinel system, and technically it will go over it. But if you're standing close enough, essentially if you're standing within that area of effect, or if the missile just has to pass through that area of effect of the Sentinel, then as you can see, it does get intercepted. Next up, I then tested the EMP grenade, and just the same as every other grenade so far, this one does get blocked. And then to no surprise, I tested all three of Sundance's grenades after this as well, and just the same as the rest of those grenades, they all get blocked. So I can confirm that every single grenade type in the game will get blocked by the Sentinel. Now, moving forward, this is kind of where we get a little bit more into the random stuff. So the next one that I tested was actually Casper's drone. I wanted to see if firstly just flying into the zone would maybe disrupt the drone. It doesn't do anything to the drone. However, what I'll say is the drone can actually use that, like the EMP shock or whatever it has, to disable the Sentinel. But even if you throw a grenade, as you can see, the Sentinel actually comes back online pretty quickly. So you can see here that I'm throwing grenades at this as soon as I've disabled it, and it pretty much just comes back online before the grenade even blows up. So the drone can disable the Sentinel, but it's not for very long. So that is good to know. If I had a rocket launcher as well, for example, then I probably could have shot that and it would have blown up the Sentinel. But you can see that it's a pretty short period that it actually disables it. So this one was kind of, I guess, a mixed result, because it does fail to do anything to the drone, but it also doesn't stay disabled enough to actually miss out on blocking a grenade, for example. So bit of a weird result there, but it is good to know nonetheless. Now, once again, getting a little bit more creative here, I tried actually dropping Angel's loadout on it to see if it would maybe blow the loadout up or something like that. As you can see, it doesn't do anything to the loadout crate, and then I actually blew up the loadout crate to see if it actually had squished the Sentinel system, and as you can see, it doesn't. So these two essentially do not interact with each other at all. Nothing at all happened here. So again, kind of a random one. I don't know like what the use of that is. I guess it would be handy if you could squish the Sentinel with the loadout, but as I said, nothing really happens here. Moving on, I then tried Falcoret Pistol to see if, you know, that is some sort of projectile going past it. I thought it might end up blowing that up, but as you can see, it doesn't do anything to that, so the Sentinel will not blow up those Surret shots. Now, next up, I actually used Rao's hacking ability and tried to hack the Sentinel system and then throw a grenade at it. The result was kind of the same as the drone, except the hack actually lasts quite a bit longer, so you can actually hack the Sentinel system and then use an explosive to blow it up, and the grenade did actually work on this one, unlike with Casper's drone. And so that is a pretty handy way to take this out. If you do see someone using a Sentinel and it's causing you a bit of a pain, then you can always try and hack it and then essentially just use any kind of explosive to blow it up. Now, the final three that I've got here are actually all vehicles. I tested a chopper, a tank, and a bolt. Firstly, starting off with the chopper, the explosive rounds from this do not get stopped by the Sentinel. The result for the tank was exactly the same as well. It won't stop that at all, and again, if you shoot it at the ground right next to it, it will eventually blow the Sentinel up. And then I tested with the bolt, the actual minigun. I thought this might have some sort of like splash damage, so maybe that would count as like an explosive projectile, but as you can see, it doesn't do anything. I didn't bother to test the explosive rounds that everyone spams because I kind of knew from the chopper that wouldn't work. So not only do those not work, but the actual like the minigun does not get blocked at all either. So that is pretty much it for the testing, guys. Those were 17 different things that I thought of sitting in the portal mode. I kind of just went through and looked at every single item in the game and thought, you know, what could this possibly stop and what couldn't it stop? With that being said, I'm sure there's probably stuff that I didn't think of that could be worth testing as well. So if there's any stuff that you guys think that I could have missed, definitely don't hesitate to let me know down in the comments. I feel like I covered pretty much everything here because, like I said, I was kind of just like redeploying and looking at my loadouts and looking at every item that I could use, and at the time it felt like I had covered pretty much everything. But yeah, if there's enough stuff that I've missed, then I'll consider doing a kind of follow-up video to this one. So like I said, let me know down in the comments. That is going to do it for this one though, guys. If you enjoyed the video, then be sure to leave a like down below, and if you guys are new to the channel, then definitely hit that subscribe button and turn on those notifications so you don't miss out on any upcoming Battlefield 2042 content. If you want to support the content that I make here on YouTube, then consider becoming a channel member. But with that being said, thank you all very much for watching. You guys have a great day, and I'll see you all out there on the battlefield.